Mr. Raper,
Thank you, Your Honor. If I myself may go into oath for purposes.
do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. My name is Brett Raper. I'm a deputy prosecuting attorney here in Monroe County, Indiana. I've been so employed for 2.5 years. During the course of my employment, I will routinely receive reports from police officers who allege that juveniles have committed certain delinquent acts. I have recently received a police report prepared by Officer Kellums of the Bloomington Police Department regarding Thomas Herman, who's here today, whose date of birth is listed as April 28, 1983. The report dated June 25, 1999, states in relevant part that on that date, at approximately 3:30 in the morning, the officer was dispatched to the area of Walnut and Winslow Streets here in Bloomington, Indiana, that the officer's purpose was to assist Officer Hawkins of Bloomington Police Department, who was engaged in confrontation with the driver of a van which had been stopped. The driver was known to be Jesse Seitz. Jesse Seitz was being detained for illegal consumption, possession of marijuana, over 30 grams, and illegal consumption, and during an inventory search of the vehicle, the officer reports that a handgun was found in the van. Jesse Seitz, according to the report, became combative with Officer Hawkins, and Officer Kellums reports that his role was to deal with the passenger in the van, who was identified as Thomas Herman. Thomas Herman was administered a portable breath test and registered a .54 VAC, also a green leafy vegetation, which the officer, based on his training and experience, believed to be marijuana, was found on the person of Thomas Herman. Thomas Herman's mother, Susan Herman, was contacted and did arrive at the Bloomington Police Station where Thomas and the officer was at that time, again on June 25th. The officer reports Thomas indicated through a statement that Thomas knew that Jesse Seitz had marijuana in his vehicle and was aware that Jesse had a handgun in the vehicle, and Thomas further advised that he at one point did hold the handgun, but the handgun was not his. Based on the police reports and the information contained therein, at this point in time, I would be asking that probable cause be established for the following offenses: illegal consumption, curfew violation, possession of marijuana, and visiting a common nuisance. I would advise the court, and the court may in turn wish to advise Thomas, that if in fact there is more information which indicates the handgun was actually in the possession of or did belong to Thomas, that this matter would no longer be in juvenile court because he is now over 16 years old. This would be a direct file matter, but at this point I don't have any information to substantiate that, and I think we should proceed in juvenile court.
Thank you. Pardon me. The court finds that probable cause has been established for those offenses. The state of Indiana is authorized to file a petition alleging that Thomas Herman is a delinquent child.
Call Cole Cat.
Come up, Mr. Cat. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Be seated.
State your name, occupation, please.
Nicole Capp, Juvenile Probation Officer in Monroe County, Indiana.
And how long have you been so employed?
1.5 years.
And Ms. Catt, in the course of your employment, have you had occasion to come into contact with Thomas Herman or the records of Thomas Herman?
Yes, I have. On June 25th, I was on juvenile pager duty and I received a call from the Bloomington Police Department stating that they had Thomas in their custody. They then informed me of what had taken place that night, and I called Judge Kellums, who was on pager that night, and requested that he be placed in secure detention, at which time he was placed in the Johnson County detention facility.
What was the basis of your request at that particular time for immediate detention?
My greatest concern was that there was a handgun in the car. The officers also told me that Thomas was acting in a belligerent manner towards his mother. That wasn't stated in the police report, but that was what I was told that night on the phone.
Which officer told you?
Tony Daffron.
And so then you contacted Judge Kellums, who
That's
was on
correct.
Duty at that time?
Yes, he was on.
Have we had contact with Thomas Herman before through the juvenile justice system?
Yes, we have. In March of '96, we received a referral for the offense of conversion. On October 96th, Thomas was placed on 1-year probation. He was ordered to complete Facing the Facts, participate in the Teen Intervention and Prevention Program, write a letter of apology to the victim, complete 45 hours of public restitution, pay court costs and probation user fees, and participate in Project Breakaway. And it appears that that case was then closed successfully at the end of that term. We again received a referral in January of '97, this time for assault and battery and intimidation. An admission hearing was held on March 5th of 1997, at which time Thomas was placed in White's, which is a residential placement facility. And it appears that Thomas remained there from March 11th of '97 until January 21st of 1998. His family also participated in the Family Preservation Program. They were successfully discharged from that program on August 27th, and he was also released from White's on January 21st of '98.
Okay. So since January, when you mentioned August, was that 1998?
Yes, yes.
Was August of '98 the last contact juvenile justice had with Thomas?
Yes, other than the most recent referral.
Based on your training experience and based on the records of Thomas and his contact with juvenile justice, do you have a recommendation today as to whether or not Thomas should remain in a secure detention facility pending any further hearings in this matter, or if some lesser restrictive alternative might be available?
At this time, I would recommend that Thomas be released from secure detention with a standing order, and that he participate in the JAMS program, which is a program that's facilitated through Community Corrections. It's an intensive program. It's offered 4 days a week from 3 to 6 p.m. It offers tutoring, mentoring, a lot of group activity. The first 2 weeks in the program are spent on house arrest, home detention. And it's a 12-week program with an aftercare component also.
And that would make you feel comfortable in lieu of secure detention at this time,
Yes.
based on supervision?
Yes, in lieu of secure detention if he were to complete that.
Have you spoken with Thomas's mother about this program, or any thoughts you may have with regard to this program?
No, I haven't had a chance to speak with her yet.
But that would be your recommendation at this time?
Yes.
Do you have anything else for the court at this time regarding Thomas's case?
I don't believe so.
What would your recommendation be if Thomas refused to participate in the JAMS program, which he is not obligated to do at this time?
Then I would recommend that he return to secure detention.
Because
Because I believe that he poses a threat right now to the community.
without supervision.
Yes.
Anything else?
I have no further questions.
Step down.
We call Susan Urban.
Come up, Ms. Urban. Ms. Urban, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Be seated.
You've been in the courtroom, and a brief testimony has been provided with regard to Thomas's case now. You heard Ms. Katz's recommendation that Thomas be released out of secure detention pending any further hearings in this matter, but that he participate in a program run through Community Corrections. Do you have agreement or disagreement with that suggestion or proposal?
I agree with that.
You think that's appropriate? You think Thomas needs that level of supervision between now and any further hearings?
I don't think he needs secure detention. I really want him to come home.
Ms. Katz indicated that at the time this allegedly occurred, that Thomas was not particularly been cooperative with you. Is that correct?
No, he was not threatening in any way. I don't even know that officer. The only officer who was present when Thomas and I were together was Steve Kellums. And while Thomas was not in the best of moods that evening, I didn't think he was belligerent or particularly hostile to me. And he was certainly not threatening. So I don't know where that came from. I really do not. He's had a problem before, but for the last year and a half, this fellow has been of exemplary behavior. He's gotten a summer job. He's been on the honor roll at school. This evening, when he was out, he had a day off from work the next day and asked permission to spend the night with a friend. And the next thing I know, the police are calling. I think it's just a really bad judgment for him to be with this person that he doesn't even like. He's avoided Jesse since over a year ago. I'm not sure why he made a decision to go with this fellow, but I don't think he represents a threat to the community or to me.
Now, at this time, Mr. Hubbard, we don't know whether these allegations are true or not. I haven't proven anything, but we do know what time he was picked up, and it was in the middle of the night.
Right.
Does that concern you with regard to supervision, that he was at least out in the middle of the evening?
Yes, indeed. You know, he called me saying he's spending the night with his friend. He's supposed to be with his friend the whole night, and then we made arrangements to get together the next day. Like I said, he works, and so he has to keep regular hours. Because he works over the weekend, he doesn't have time to be with his friends on the weekend, and this was an exception that he spent the night with this particular friend.
And it concerns you, I'm sure, that the allegation at this point is that there was a handgun in the vehicle.
Yes.
Based on that information, do you think Ms. Cass' recommendation that he participate in a supervised program is inappropriate?
I don't know about the handgun or what JAMS has to do with handguns. I'm real concerned that he was in the possession of some vegetation and his illegal consumption. I don't know what the JAMS program is and if that has to do with handguns. I know Thomas has never possessed a handgun. I'm astounded at his stupid choices for being with this person, but he does not represent a threat to the community, and I don't think he'd ever use any kind of a weapon, ever.
Do you have anything else for the judges?
He has been of wonderful behavior in the last year. He's shown himself to be mature. He's certainly not perfect in his behavior, but he has come so much further. This is just out of the blue. I don't have an explanation for it, but he has changed from the first angry young man you saw in 97 or 96. I just hope that you'll put it in that kind of perspective. I think he's on the way to being a productive, responsible adult in the community. Bear with us, he's a work in progress. Step down.
Your Honor, I have no further witnesses. I would agree with Ms. Cass' assessment of this case. I believe Thomas can return to the community, but at the same time, given the nature of the allegation, the fact that the handgun was found in this van, regardless of who it was, presents a concern to the community, and I would recommend that he participate in the JAMS program and live security detention to ensure supervision.
Thomas, where are you working?
At Motel 6, ma'am.
What are your work hours?
I go in at 10 a.m. and leave whenever my work is done, ma'am.
Could you attend a program that begins at 3 o'clock and ends at 6 o'clock on Monday through Thursday?
I can most likely make arrangements.
Now, you're not required to participate in any programs until there's been a hearing to determine whether or not you've committed these acts. But one of the opportunities available to you is to participate in the JAMS program in lieu of going back to security detention.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you choose to do that?
Instead of going back to security detention, yes, ma'am.
I know it's not very much of a choice, but it does ensure that you will be under supervision, and there are many other programs available to you there, more than just supervision. And I'm delighted to know that you have, your behavior has improved. And I would like to give your mother an opportunity to continue working with you. And that's why I would like to see you in the JAMS program and at home, on home detention. So if you could arrange your work hours to attend the JAMS program Monday through Thursday, it's at the Community Corrections Center office on 7th Street between something and Rogers. I don't know the streets. Madison, between Madison and Rogers. You know where the battery shop is on 7th Street? Community Corrections is up that driveway. It's a building. just diagonally across the driveway from the battery company. And you would be on home detention. There would be a standing order for you to return to detention if you violated between now and the time you can come back to court. But I would be releasing you today to go over to community corrections and get outfitted with an electronic anklet, and then you could go home with your mother. Do you want me to do that?
Instead of going back to detention, yes, ma'am.
Well, and I need to make it very clear to you that these allegations are very serious. And the investigation has not been completed yet. Mr. Raper or the police are still trying to determine who owned that gun or who was in possession of that gun. If it's determined that you are associated with that gun, then there won't be any more proceedings in this court. You'll be in the adult court. And these things are not threats to you, Thomas. You know I don't make threats. I just want to explain to you how serious the allegations are. They are yet to be proven, but there's enough cause for concern. But the recommendation by Ms. Catt seems to be appropriate, that you would be on home detention and you would attend the JAMS program. And maybe through the JAMS program, you could put the other piece of the puzzle in place. How to use better judgment about choosing friends. And how to stay where you say you're going to be when you... This much I know. I know you weren't where your mother thought you were. I don't know whether you did what you've been accused of, but I know you weren't where your mother thought you were. So tell me, what is your decision?
I'll participate in the JAMS program.
Then we will set it for, we'll give you a date for an initial hearing now. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Who did you have before?
Mike Spencer, ma'am?
Well, I don't make the assignments, obviously. They will make the assignment in the public defender's office. They generally will reassign the same person. Who is person's in the back of the room, sitting over there?
My friends, ma'am.
Were any of them with you that night?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Date?
July 14th at 2:30.
That's when you come back for the initial hearing. And we'll go ahead and issue the appointment, the order to the public defender's office. Just get in touch with the office in about 10 days and find out who's really been appointed to represent you.